Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm be doing new features and efficiencies available in 10.6. My name is Tara Knapp, and this button's supposed to do this. No? There we go. I'm currently a business process architect with AvMax. We analyze the different business processes and implement technology and software to improve efficiency wherever we can. I started with AvMax as an AME. That's the Canadian version of an AMP. Through there, I worked into the parts world and became inventory controller. And we introduced Quantum about 7 years ago. And with many trial and error, I became a parts subject matter expert. My experience with Quantum is that I worked with the company to implement Quantum in our first MRO. And shortly after that, we were able to merge our MRO into our spares database for just that much more efficiency. I've also worked on an implementation at our Kenya spares division, and most recently did an implementation at our Jacksonville spares business. And we're currently working towards implementing 2 more MROs here in the US. AvMax is a group of companies, fully integrated, and we do aircraft leasing, maintenance, and operating around the world. We were established in 1976, and we're headquartered in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We have locations all over the world, Calgary, Vancouver, Montreal, and then Great Falls, Montana, and Jacksonville, Florida here in the States, Nairobi, Kenya as well. Some of the things that we offer as a company is leasing, as I mentioned. We have a full avionics repair station, as well as a component repair facility. Spares is growing business, and we're offering that in many different locations. We also do paint in Montana. We offer engineering services, STCs, for example. We do executive interior builds out in Montreal, and of course, maintenance, heavy and line. In this session, we're going to learn about new features and efficiencies that have been added to 10.6 for work order, work package support. We've heard a lot about enhancements of how we can improve the technician on the floor, but this is where AvMax stepped in and said we need a little bit more support for those people behind the scenes trying to manage all that data they're inputting. We're going to learn what system exchange is and how it works in work order, work package, both for just rotables and especially for life-limited parts. We're going to learn how the new price lines work with billing groups in the work order, work package. Learn how to do AP entries direct to a work package. And learn about SO categories, where they are, and what they can do for us. So just in a little bit more detail, what we'll cover in work order, work package exchange is new in 10.6 is the ability to do exchanges. This is something that we struggled with as a company, trying to work with the replace feature. It didn't quite do the billing that we would have liked it to do. So the beauty of working with component control is if it doesn't quite work the way you'd like it to, they'll be more than happy to help you get to a point where it will work the way you'd like it to. So hopefully it works for you guys just as well as we're hoping it works for us. So we'll go through the setup of a master part, which is going to be crucial to how that billing pulls together. And this new tool that we were able to use to maintain new reconciliation features. The life-limited portion of the system exchange, again, new in 10.6, will help auto-populate a mischarge entry, which saves us from trying to bill out the difference between an exchange fee and repair costs. And with the life limited, we'll also be able to bill out cycle difference. And this is all, of course, automated and auto-calculated based on information that you can now enter into your master part. So we'll go through the master part setup. And I'm not actually going to do a demonstration. I'm not sure how well Quantum works here, so we'll just go through some screenshots. Also, what we'll cover is that parts billing automation in sales orders. This also works for life-limited parts. It also does auto-populating of a mischarge with a cycle difference. We'll go in more detail about the price line option available with the billing group and work order work package. And just again, the master part setup and what a price line setup looks like. So the direct AP to work package mischarge entries is extremely useful for those accountants trying to manage a timing issue. So we'll go through what that feature looks like. We can use this, for example, landing fees, freight charges. You get invoiced quite a bit after the fact. And it's difficult, at least for us, to make sure that those charges end up where they're supposed to be with timing, etc. And then we'll touch a bit on SO categories. We've added them to a few new places, particularly the task level of a work order. And this gives us a little bit more reporting features for our departments within divisions. So to start out, our system exchange feature for rotables, where I am particularly excited about this. When you do pull up a new adding bill of materials, you'll have a new disposition available called System Exchange. And many of you that have worked with sales order exchanges, that's pretty much the functionality that we'll be able to use now in work order work package. And I just gave you some examples there of what it might look like on your package. So when you pull up an adding bill of material and you've selected that System Exchange disposition, you'll now have an exchange tab at the top of your bill of material window. This is very similar to the exchange tab in the sales order. And here you can enter your cost of your repair and the price of your repair. That helps those people in billing just make that transaction a little bit smoother. When you do use these charges, it will appear on your mischarge option at the bottom as any fee that you mischarge that you decide to call it. So we've gone ahead and called it repair charge and course. So when we go to set it up, we're going to go into the work order control setup. If many of you are familiar with that screen, there's now this new box available. In there, that's where you would choose which charge you want to populate on that mischarge window. So here, we were able to call it a repair charge, and it does give us the option to do a bit of a markup. This is at the setup level. So you kind of make an executive decision and you're able to just move forward instead of working on an individual basis. So here is the master parts window setup. How many of you work in master parts windows? Okay, so some of you have seen this before. Previously you had the exchange default. They're highlighted in the red box. This is now working in work order work packages as well. So it's not just for your sales order exchanges, it's now available for other uses. So our home list price in this field is now our exchange fee. So when you're working off a percentage, you can assign that to the master part level and keep that consistent billing throughout your transactions. So there's also now a place for overhaul cost. You can put your average cost of repair, average cost of overhaul. Some people may think that that's a bit of a risk because it is an average, but I will show you a reconciliation tool here in a moment that helps make sure that you're on top of any differences. And we also have the core value available here. I'm not sure how many of you have witnessed the turn-in and turn-in reconciliation tool that's currently available. It's fairly cumbersome on the receiving staff. It's not the right place for that to be. So we've moved it into the master part, which allows us, again, to have that consistency throughout our businesses. So one of the key points when we are using the new system exchange feature, which is going to be a challenge for us to implement, is that we must do our turn-in before we do our issue. This way we make sure that the MISC charge does populate, and you don't want to charge people for something that you've not necessarily completed yet. So working with component control, this was kind of a debate, but we ended up using the turn-in as the prompt, or sorry, the issue as the prompt to make this all happen. So also I was saying there's that new BOM reconciliation tool. Under the the work package drop-down menu, you'll now see a BOM exchange reconciliation. This is similar to physical inventory. If any of you have used it, it's really just a collection of data in one place. You can then inspect the different work packages, inspect the ROs, inspect the work orders, and be able to see your costs and make sure your averaging that you are billing isn't gone nuts. So if you have a unit go BER, for example, and nobody cared to mention to the customer that their unit had gone BER, maybe you have a timing issue and your repair isn't going to get back quite as soon as you want to produce an invoice. You can monitor this from an accounting perspective even, or an operations perspective, and make sure you're not getting taken by that customer on a BER unit. So again, you can find this under the drop-down menu. It is there now at the bottom. So work order, work package exchanges for life-limited parts. I'm fairly excited about this because of all the extra stuff that I get to do with auditing and having the ability to build this against the master. But for work order, work package, when we're using the distribution system exchange to issue this life-limited part, the system will auto-populate a mischarge entry for the repair cost, a mischarge entry for the cycle difference, as well as making sure that we have our exchange fees pulling as our list price. So when you move to 10.6, when you click that time life option on the master part, a new side of the window will appear. This will only appear if you do have that life limited box checked. And here you can now enter the standard for inspection limit by cycle, hour, or calendar, overhaul as well as inspection, hour, cycle, or calendar. And then, of course, our limit, or life limit, or our discard life by cycle, hour, or calendar. So it helps us just maintain those particularly needy parts that always cause us problems down the road when we try to settle up. This will also pull into a bunch of different inventory reporting that you'll now be able to do. So service capacity will work a little bit more smoothly with the limits being built in directly to the master part. So a little bit about how it works. If you are using that life limited feature, again, on the bill of material, you'll have that exchange tab on the window. In there, you'll be able to put your repair cost and repair price. So when the receiver does go to do the turn-in, it will force them now to do their TSN, CSN entry. This is what's going to drive many of the mischarges that are now automated. So when these entries happen, you do the turn-in, and then you do the issue, and then the mischarges there at the bottom of the screen would appear. If you notice, under the lease payment, it's got a quantity of 30,000. This is 30,000 cycles, so it's not based on the fact that we issued a single part. It's now calculating how many cycles that we're billing for. Okay, so this is just that receiving window one more time. And what's neat now is that it will highlight the window that you need to be entering. So on the master part, if you've set a cycle limit versus an hour limit, it will highlight the window that is required in a color, which is kind of nice. so that we show the receivers that this is absolutely mandatory, because we want to help our billing people as much as possible. So price lines in work order work package that we can now link to billing groups. So one of our challenges was trying to bill out market pricing. We're not always issuing brand new parts into our work order work package, but the system wants to calculate only list price at the moment. So we worked with component control to build the ability to do market pricing, linking price lines into our billing group as an option. Price lines, if any of you are familiar with it, does allow you to set up a different price by condition and as well by customer. So if you are billing a particular sister company, for example, you can set all these prices in that may be a little bit more discounted than others, and it does give you that automation and that confidence. You're not necessarily discounting your entire invoice at the end, you're just billing the agreed percentage between the different sister companies. So when you do a billing group setup, when you do the drop down for parts billing, at the bottom of the window there's now parts price lines. That's where you would want to select it if you want the billing to pull from the master part price lines option. So we'll just go through quickly how to set up a price line. Has anyone used price lines before? Yes? 1, 2, 3? This is something new that we're trying to experiment with. We're working to import all of these prices because there's many parts that are available. So we're going to go into the master part, find the part number that we are looking for, and then there is a button at that bottom window of the master part that says price line. So when we click on that button, this is the window that would appear, and these are the many fields that would be available to categorize this pricing, make it a little bit different than the next pricing. And you can now do work order exchange list price in here, which is extremely helpful to us. So just like every other window, we have to enter all the information and press OK. I didn't mention this in what we're going to discuss, but I thought it was a neat entry that we did. We use requisition management at AppMax for our stores department to monitor the requests that are coming in from the BOM. In requisition management, we found it extremely challenging because we didn't know what priority, how to sort the data. It was kind of whichever line item was on the top of the screen is what we would process. So now we've pulled in the priority category column into this window, just giving it that much more visibility and efficiency in processing the parts orders that are coming in. We don't want to do a standard request when you have 3 AOGs sitting waiting for someone's attention. We also got a purchase request button added to this window. This allows us to see, oh, this part's a little bit above our threshold, so let's forward that on for approval. Also, to help our receivers, as mentioned in a previous presentation, I think it was yesterday, the receiving inspection one, we don't want our receivers in the module, the PO module, the RO module. Part of the challenge that we were having with turn-in is that you are in the work order work package module. Our work packages are huge, and so it takes quite a few minutes for that screen to load, and it's just not efficient for these people. They're just trying to turn in an item, waiting for that screen, then hunting down the correct sequence, etc. So now we can do a turn-in receiving inspection from the receiving inspection module. So again, keeping our receivers out of the administrative side of the work order, just like the purchase order and repair order. So there's a turn-in feature there, as well as piece parts, but that's not necessarily the topic, but it is there now. Okay, next I wanted to talk about the direct AP to work package mischarge entry that's available in 10.6. We were having a challenge, as I was saying, with maintaining landing fees and freight charges, all these invoices that come way after the fact. Every time an accountant went to pick up a bill and push it into a work order, they had to know how to get into the work order work package, how to navigate it, and get into the missed charge tab. So what we've done is we're now able to do an adding AP adjustment. There is now this little click box beside the distribution, use charge distribution, and this bottom half of the window was not there before. Here you can enter the work order or work package reference number, the sequence or task, and then choose which charge type you'd like to add directly onto your work package. This saves us a whole bunch of clicks and buttons to pressing, and I think we're going to see a lot of efficiency changes in our accounting group by using this feature. So again, this resolves our billing expenses and our timing issue with billing all of those expenses. Yes, so I said this already, but here's the slide that goes with what I just said. All right, I'm going through this very, very quickly, but this is the introduction to SO categories and the ability now to do this at the task level for new reporting features. So many of you that use the accounting modules that are in Quantum, we've set them up a bit differently. We wanted to demonstrate the difference between our physical locations, not just our departments. By doing that, we've used too many GL segments and we ran out of space to then determine which department is doing this work. So we're very excited about this. I've heard rumors that SAP can't even do this. So people are talking that this is fairly exciting. Not an accountant, so not really understanding the excitement, but it's, other people are excited. So here at the task card level, we will be able to assign a category. This category then does tie in, and we can demonstrate which kind of revenue is being driven by all the different divisions working within that same work order work package. So for us, we have an engineering group that contributes, our structures department, our paint department. All of this work is being billed out on that same package, but it's all the revenue and reporting is going just to the MRO facility. This now allows us to split that in a reporting and see what our different departments within our divisions are doing to contribute to our work packages. So there it is now at the bottom of the screen. This is now also in a bill of material entry. You can also put an SO category against your parts. For us, we have multiple facilities that all monitor inventory. Our avionics department has inventory. We also have it at spares. We also have it within the MRO. And we also move our aircraft from facility to facility. So if you do want that extra bit of reporting, it would now be available. Oh, I should have clicked the slide button, but you got to look at the screenshot for a bit longer. Does anyone have any questions about the SO categories? Has anyone been using SO categories? No one. All right. So I did go through this extremely fast, but I wanted to show you all this new stuff that AppMax was able to build with component control into the 10.6 software. In the release notes, you can see a bunch of the different changes. There's improvements and enhancements left, right, and center in the 10.6. And again, it's extremely exciting to have the opportunity to work with component control and tweak those little things and have those little opportunities for that efficiency. I think it was extremely affordable in some cases to make those small changes, like adding the priority field into the column, for example. So the key points that I was interested in sharing with you, and so that you could take home, just to recap, was that we are introducing a system exchange into work order work package. We're not trapped into using replace. We're not trapped into using just the repair feature. Then all that automation in the billing, you're not worried about which MISC charges are having to be manually populated after the fact. You can just rely on the automation and all that information built into the master part, having that standardized billing across many divisions using work order work package. So we just kind of went over how to make sure that that is set up correctly with the master part and with the price lines. And we did go through the direct AP work order work package entries. And we talked about SO categories at the task level for work order work package. So does anyone have any questions about new stuff in 10.6? Yes?
Hang on. How long have you guys been on 10.6?
We're still working towards implementation of 10.6. So we've had it for a couple months now, playing with the new features.
You're kind of beta testing it, I guess?
It is in production. Last I heard, it was 10.6.8 already. So we are working with component control to kind of make sure all those production, well, we won't call them bugs, are the kinks. The kinks are worked out before we take it live.
We work extensively in work packages, and it's been a long shortcoming, I guess, in our opinion, with all the wonderful exchange functionality that's in sales orders is completely non-existent in work packages from an exchange standpoint, like the core values of being on a work package and things of that nature. Sounds like we operate a little bit different than you guys, and what you talk about in exchange. It's important to you to know how much it's going to cost to repair that exchange unit, maybe, I guess, to put it back on your shelf. Versus we're buying exchange components from a third-party vendor, putting it on our aircraft, say it's got a $10,000 core charge, that's a $10,000 obligation, I guess, that we're sitting on for the next 30, 45 days, but there's no functionality to put that on the work package. I mean, it sounds like this is solving that.
I hope so. We also had that same challenge. We just didn't quite understand why we couldn't do exchanges in work packages. You're right, it's a beautiful feature in this SO system, and basically when we had component control come up, they thought we were crazy, and they sent us trainers so that we could learn a little bit more about how they thought we should work it. We ended up convincing them that this is something that we needed to accomplish. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited that you get to try it now too.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, well, that was extremely fast. Well, thank you for joining me, and feel free to stop me in the hallway if you want to pick my brain on any of this new 10.6 enhancements. Thank you.